So Suzi, tell us why you started writing your blog in 2014.
Well, I was sort of gainfully unemployed, retired. I was very happy. I was lucky enough to be able to afford not to work anymore. I'd written 3 books. I'd done a master's degree. I had tried script writing for films. I tried to write a novel. Nothing really gave me that, oh, I can't wait to get up in the morning and tackle this feeling that I'd had in television and radio most of my working life, and writing books to a certain degree. But I didn't want to write another book. I didn't really have it in me. And I went to see Advanced Style, the documentary, and was completely blown away by Ari Seth Cohen's photography and stopping women in the streets of New York. And I thought, oh God, I would love that. My passion is photography, always has been since the 70s. So I thought, it'd be really nice to combine photography with writing. Maybe I could do another book that way. And then completely independently, my 2 godchildren both separately said, why don't you go into blogging? It would really suit you. And that's how it started. And now they're both absolutely gobsmacked that I'm queen of the Instagram, and they have to ask me for help and lessons. So it was a wonderful new challenge.
And how would you describe your own personal style?
I think it's become quite vintage, and I don't know how I arrived at that, but I've always had a slightly quirky style. I was known at TVAM, where I spent many years reporting, as, oh, Suzi, she's the one with that fake fur, bright pink, floor-length coat. But obviously on television I couldn't wear things like that. And I did obviously do quite serious stuff, and I did a lot of media training, and I've done a lot of public speaking. So it was only when I started writing books and moved to Brighton and started dyeing my hair red that I came into my own self and started experimenting. I'd had my colours done, so I knew what suited me colour-wise, but style-wise, you get to 50 and you think, can't really wear a miniskirt anymore, although Sigourney Weaver does it beautifully, as long as you wear the thick tights. Can't wear this anymore, can wear that. Maybe I shouldn't wear this, maybe I should wear that. So I started styling for myself, styling for the blog, styling for the readers, styling with friends, and I think it's just something that I passionately adore doing. And the reason that I've homed in on vintage is that I want my own personal style. I don't want to go to a high street shop and buy something that everyone else is wearing. I like the fact that I'm recycling. I like the fact that I'm buying pre-loved. Some people hate it, but I like it. I like the way vintage clothes are made, the fabric and the care and the buttons and all those little individual things. Some people say, like I have a feng shui friend, and she says, ooh, it's other people's energy. You're picking up other people's energy. Somebody quite rightly said the other day, then what about the energy in those poor folk in India and China in the sweatshops? Because that's where most of High Street comes. And I'm not a designer, label, Mabel person at all. So I think that's why I homed in on vintage. I love it. I love vintage fairs. I love vintage shops. And I love coming home with something that nobody else will have.
So Suzi, that's all about the outside, clearly, the external appearance. Do you think the inside is just as important as we get older?
For me, it is paramount. Every single thing you read on my Twitter page, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you are, it's all about helping women and men over 50 look good and feel great. And that's where nutrition and health comes into it. I'm not just about the fashion. I'm very much about the health on the inside. You can put all the most beautiful makeup and clothes on a body in the world, but if you're not putting the right stuff into your body, the right fuel, then you won't live a long and happy life. And I want to live a long and happy life.
And what would you say your 3 best tips are to women around, particularly around food and what they consume?
As a nutritionist, and because of all the research that is out there, things that I was taught 20 years ago are now being produced by the scientific community as, oh, this is a good idea. The first one is obviously water. I enjoy coffee, as you know. I enjoy Prosecco. I enjoy champagne. I enjoy all those things in moderation. I do drink a fair amount of water. Listen to your body, but my top tip is drink a small glass of water every hour on the hour, unless you're travelling. But a small glass every hour on the hour will, we're 70% water. We're like plant. I used to say to my patients, you don't give your dogs zero, whatever it's called, that brand, that soft drink, zero, what's it called? Zero sugar. You don't give your animals soft drinks from the fridge. You give them water. That's what we need. You give your plants water. So that's my first top tip, please. Drink. If you want beautiful skin, plumped up skin, drink water. The second one is obviously masses of vegetables more than fruit. Lots and lots of green vegetables. Think of the rainbow, yellow, orange, red and green, full of every vitamin you need, every mineral you need, and your body will thank you for it. Eat natural, try not to eat processed, ready-made meals and food, and don't worry about eating all the time. We eat far too much, and there is wonderful research now finally out there. Professors have spent decades working out why rats on a restricted calorie diet live longer. Well, they're now proving it with humans. I was taught that 20 years ago, 1 day of fasting a week. So give yourself permission not to eat. If you're not hungry, don't eat. Eat when you're hungry. You don't need to eat every 3 or 4 hours, but listen to your body. And if you're into fasting, do that regularly. It's really good for your health, let alone your weight, but really good for longevity, long-term health.
And what about reducing diets if you're older and you really would like to lose a stone or a couple of stones?
I would say fasting, go online. I've written blogs about it. You can certainly find it on my blog. But intermittent fasting is the way to go. And it is now proven. Even my own GP recommends it to her clients, her patients. It is the one thing that works for losing weight. For me, what is more important is the health benefits. It brings cholesterol down, blood pressure down. People have reversed diabetes. I mean, all sorts of wonderful health benefits, but it certainly works for weight loss big time. You know the 5-2 diet that Dr. Michael Mosley brought over to England after interviewing Professor Longo, who I really rate. He's the one who's done the amazing research in the States. So the 5-2 diet, or Longo's now brought out a program that's 5 days fasting, 2-3 times a year. I've just done 5 days. And I was the same weight at the end of it that I was when I was 21, without any effort. So I would say look into fasting, big time.
And finally, we've done a makeover on you today. So what have you loved about your Look Fabulous Forever makeup?
Actually, I'm amazed because it felt like it was hours of makeup going on for the video. And I thought, I'm going to look all wrinkled. And you know how when you get older, all the foundation sits in the creases. I'm absolutely thrilled, Tricia. I can actually say, hand on heart, my skin looks so smooth. I mean, I go naked skin a lot. I won't be now because you've just I don't look overly made up, I don't think. Do I? I don't think I do.
I mean, you look absolutely lovely.
Radiant. You've made me look radiant. Yes, so I'm really happy because it's light. It's light. It's not caked on. It's light. And I'm really happy with it. Thank you.
Brilliant. I'm so delighted to hear that.
Thank you.
It's really good. So thank you so much, Suzi. It's been brilliant talking to you and lovely to hear your story.
Absolute pleasure. And thank you for inviting me.